Hello, good morning, or good afternoon. This is George Nemeh from MAAP Real Talk Show. Today, we are at Deer Valley Airport. We are about to interview one of the greatest gentlemen that I've met for a while now, and we're gonna get details as we go, the program goes. But for now, I want you to have a little shot, a panorama shot. We're at Deer Valley Airport, like I said, and stay tuned, and we'll be right back. This is George Nemeh from MAAP Real Talk Show.
Hey! MAAP Real Talk Show's at it again. How's everybody? Barry! Look at you! What are you doing, buddy?
Welcome to the hangar, dude!
How are you, man?
Good. Here you go.
Welcome back. This is George Nemeh again with MAAP Real Talk Show, and we're excited and delighted to introduce you to our guest, Mr. Barry Caraway. How are you, sir?
Good, George. How are you?
How you feeling?
Welcome to my home away from home.
I noticed that this is like a gorgeous
This is
hangar.
My checkbook.
Yeah. I was gonna say that.
This is a few years of a work in progress.
A
But
lot of work in progress.
It's home.
But
away
I humbly say that to you, sir. I really appreciate you from the bottom of our hearts. And now I didn't say that to you before. I'm saying it to you on air. You probably noticed that the first time.
Yeah.
And I hope I didn't say anything wrong, but I just want you to know it's called appreciation. On my left, actually, ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to introduce to, not that I forgot, but that's how the process works, is our co-host, friend, confidant, friendship, you name it, allocation manager, script supervisor, singer, band singer, you name it, talented individual, and happen to be, I'm lucky to call him as a friend, is Mr. Ken Ronk.
Thank you.
Come on, guys. Yeah, man. You gotta get it when you get it. So as you all know here, we're not pretending. This is not a pretend show. This show, it's about the real deal, how people communicate with one another. And we're bringing that to you so you could see, maybe we could copy each other as we move forward in life. Sometimes the positive definitely will override the negative. And let's just hope at least that's where I'm aiming with this particular show, and to have an honor to have friends like this to call friends. And they don't even have to talk anymore, because what I just said to you, this is the time to recognize the good people, and that's where we are. We are a positive show. With that said, let me get into the mixer with my buddy here, my new friend, Mr. Barry. I don't know where to begin with you, because as I study a little bit of your life, a little bit that I've seen, and follow you on social network, as you perhaps know already, I'm very detained to you, like, and I follow you and I click and I comment. And I noticed that one thing about you. I called you Charles Bronson, Clint Eastwood. I'm telling you of today's era, and I hope I'm not. I mean, you got that persona and that personality. It has nothing to do with occupation. I really don't even know your occupation, but you have that look, and I want like the world to see, even producers, directors, because you have that look. I wish I would have met you like last year, because I would have done a lot. But we still have the future, obviously. Sir, your life. What is your fiber? You know, when you were a little boy. Now you're a big man, a tall man, I should say. Where are we with Mr. Caraway?
I grew up in small town Kansas.
Right.
Lansing, Kansas, as a matter of fact. Small town there. My grandfather was the first mayor of that town. So that was many years ago. But he was the first mayor. It was a town of like 2,000 people. Grew up on a farm, did the whole thing, with my dad, feeding the cows, baling hay. I grew up with that fabric of small town, living on a farm, working for whatever you got. And so as we progressed, we worked on the farm. I went to school, went to University of Kansas in college. But along the way, I met my wife, Tammy Caraway now. It was Tammy McKay at the time. But along the way, when I was 17, working at a gas station across the street from her house, she came riding by on a bicycle. Sweet. And of course, what's a 17-year-old kid gonna do?
Right.
Come over here.
That was cool back in the day.
Come over here. let's talk.
Yeah.
So she did, and asked her out that moment. I said, hey, let's go out, and we did, and that was 46 years ago.
Oh, congratulations.
So
That's amazing.
she was 15, I was 17, I was turning
It's
18.
like the song says.
Yeah, and so we dated
You
for
guys literally
7.
grew up together, basically.
We did, yeah, we did.
Not that I want to
And,
interrupt you, you also celebrated your 39th anniversary, am I correct?
We did. We dated
can you
for
tell us
7
recently?
years,
Yeah.
and then we got married in 1981, and just last week we celebrated our 39th wedding anniversary.
That is amazing.
that
So
is-
we've been on a journey, to say the least. I
And
mean,
you guys
imagine
live.
that.
I mean, you
Oh.
live. You guys have seen everything.
Yeah, we, even from the very first moment,
I have to mention to the audience that Ken is also a friend with Barry for a long time, so go ahead, continue.
yeah, even at the very first moment when we first went out, we're from a small town, remember? We didn't stay in that small town for that day. We went to Kansas City. That was a big deal. That was a real
Yeah, right.
big deal. I borrowed my grandfather's car, this Ford LTD.
Oh, Lord have
And
mercy.
the
You remind me of
great
American
seats,
Graffiti.
And you brought it back with
So-
the first place trophy for
Yes.
drag race.
Yeah, and it had, it had everything, the electric windows and everything. This is back in, 1974.
Does he know you borrowed it?
So, he did when
I
I
like
brought
how
it
he
back.
used the word borrowed it. Like,
Yeah, I borrowed
it's
it.
pretty much.
He did when
Yeah.
I brought it back. So I borrowed the car to make a good impression on her.
Yeah.
We took off and we had a great date, and then it was game on from there.
In
So
a town of
anyway,
2,000.
fast forwarding a little bit, I went to the University of Kansas waiting for her. She went to the University of Kansas. Then I waited for her. I worked while I was waiting for her to graduate. And so in 1981, we got married on a Saturday.
Nice.
Graduated from the University of Kansas on a Monday, and packed all of our stuff up in a truck with my dad and mom, and we were on our way to Arizona. All that,
Wow, so we have all these
all that
stories.
happened in 5 days.
It all in 5 days.
Yeah, all in
So
5 days.
you take care of things and you keep things. I mean, if
Yeah.
people can't see how meticulous Barry's
Yeah.
plane and bikes and I happen to know Barry's other cars and everything.
Well, they're gonna see them in the inserts and the other
Everything-
people.
keeps
I'm
everything
not gonna let that
perfect.
go. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So it's been a fairy tale, So we
Absolutely.
didn't have jobs, nothing.
You just
we
moved.
lived with my mom and dad for 3 months. When we first got here, we lived with them. My job was to find her a job because, right? Isn't that what you do, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but
You gotta take the one that's most marketable
Yeah.
and find a job. She got a degree in architecture.
Oh, that's
So she was the one that was most marketable. I had a Bachelor of Liberal Arts.
what are you gonna go with this at that
Yeah.
time?
What
right?
is that? So I got an interesting story about
Yeah,
that.
go ahead,
I got a
please.
good story about that.
Yes.
So my job was to find her a job because she actually had a real degree. So I drove her around town.
You like
and
his
we're
honesty,
going
right? I love it.
We're
Yeah.
going to architecture firms. She's filling out her resumes and all that. So she gets a job. Well, now the heat's on. Now she's got a job. I gotta find a job. So I don't know what
I
I'm
have to
gonna
find
do.
a way for her to make money.
Yeah, she was earning like $6 an hour too. So she gets her job. So now I gotta find a job. So this is a true story.
Yeah.
This is a true story. Back then, the Yellow Pages in Phoenix was
Oh, I
two books.
remember.
Oh, yes.
Two
Yeah.
books this
Oh,
big.
yeah.
This big.
Yeah, the A through K and then the
Yeah, that one. So I'm sitting, I remember this like it was yesterday. I'm sitting at my mom and dad's kitchen table in these two big books, Yellow Pages. And I go, I gotta find some work. So I literally, this is
Right.
true, started going through, starting at
Through the
A
pages.
and looking at what I might want to do because I have no real trade. So I go through the first book, I can't find anything. I go through the second, I get to the S's, going along, and this is
That's really far
I get
down.
to the S's, and I see stockbroker. And I go, Well, that sounds like fun. I'm going to be
Why
a
am I not-
stockbroker.
why am I not
I'm
seeing
like
that?
George Costanza.
Yeah.
I'm going to be, So I get to the S's and I get to stockbroker. Well, that was back when Tom Watson was with E.F. Hutton. When E.F. Hutton speaks,
Yes.
people listen,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Cool ad. So I get to the S, I go, that's it. I'm going to be a stockbroker. Tammy gets home that night and go, guess what? I'm
Is
going
it
to be a
'cause you wanted
stockbroker.
everyone to listen?
I'm going to be a
Oh, wow.
stockbroker.
Did she laugh or she was like,
No, she'd already been with us for a long time. She didn't even question it, So anyway, we're going along, and I put out my resumes, and I called, and I got hired with E.F. Hutton to be a stockbroker.
can you hold this
Wow.
thought? Guys, it's got a lot to say. Stay tuned. We'll be taking a short break. We'll be right back. This is MAAP Real Talk Show. Hello and welcome back. I'm your host, George Nemeh, and we're going to continue our conversation. Unfortunately, he told us a little bit about the job before we went away, but it's okay. We're going to come back and follow it through. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again with Mr. Caraway. Barry, we ended the first segment when you were mentioning regarding you got the job, obviously.
Huh?
So can you take us through what happened after this with the IQ and all that stuff?
Oh yeah, so I was going through the phone book,
Right.
as I mentioned, and I
Yeah.
decided I wanted to be a stockbroker. So I called him, E.F. Hutton. I went for an interview, and they gave me this crazy test to see if I could sell, right? So I had to go in for 6 hours and call New York, literally, and try to sell these psychologists
Right.
stocks.
Oh, they didn't know what they were
What
in
they
for, did
didn't
they?
understand is that I didn't know anything about stocks.
Right.
I just wanted to sell them. So I figured, I'll learn about it later.
Right.
So I'm trying to struggle through this and selling these stocks, and I don't know what I'm doing. So the guy, the manager, calls me a week later, and he said, we did the test. People in New York say you're never going to make it in sales.
Right.
And I said, well, respectfully, I'm going to have to.
That's the next hanger, guys. Don't worry about it. We'll continue.
We
are live.
Yeah.
That's the
We're
hanger next
live.
door.
We're live and we are real.
Planes,
No hiding
hangers,
that.
whatever.
Hangers, planes, you
Yeah.
name it.
So
Right.
I said, respectfully, I'm going to have to disagree. I think they're wrong.
Right.
I will make it in sales, whether it's with you or with someone else. I said, but you got to give me another test. I said, there's got to be something you can do. So he gives me a straight up aptitude test.
Right.
IQ test, whatever you want to call it. I take this test, calls me 3 days later and says, well, I'm going to go outside of my company's
Right.
direction.
Sticking my neck out.
You ace this better than anyone I've ever seen.
Nice.
I'm going outside my company's direction. I'm on the hook, but I'm going to hire you.
Barry is a
Nice.
stockbroker.
Thank you. And so he did, and I was one of, there's 10,000 applicants.
Right.
I was one of 350 that got hired with E.F. Hutton back then.
That is incredible.
And
That's a big number.
No.
the rest is
Which
history.
is not surprising. I mean, knowing
Yeah.
you, it doesn't surprise me.
So it surprised me.
You're persistent.
I'm
You chase that. Nothing stops your goal.
Yeah, I'm a country boy from Kansas.
Yeah.
That says it
Who
all.
are they gonna
I'm
kid?
not really a stockbroker. I just wanted to be one because I thought it was cool. So that's how I ended up getting into the stockbroker field for 7 years, but then the creative in me
Right.
took over, and I
Right.
just couldn't sit behind a desk anymore
Sure.
doing this. So I
Yeah.
had to branch out, and
Yeah.
that's how
7
we.
years later.
Yeah, that's how we got into the next things with, starting cycle rides, which
Yeah.
I mentioned, and
You could-
Hat
It
Saver.
was a .com cycle ride.
Yeah,
Cycle
cycle
rides.
With an S.
cyclerides.com,
.com.
and
And they're on Facebook
with the
as well.
motorcycles and what have you, and at the same time,
Before you get into that, can you take us back when you were 10 years old? You got the bicycle, and then you could come back to all that stuff you did.
oh yeah,
Like when you were 10 years old, what happened?
yeah. So when I was 10 years old,
Right.
man, I remember this. Isn't that amazing? 54 years ago.
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
remember what I was doing when I was
Yeah,
10,
for sure.
specifically, and
That's your passion.
so I wanted to ride motorcycles, but I was 10, didn't have a license, and so I mowed lawns.
Right.
$2 a lawn. If I was really doing good, I had a big lawn, I'd get $2.50.
Nice.
So I saved every penny. I mean, I remember pulling out 25 cents to go to the local drugstore to get some candy or some gum. But that was my motorcycle fund. Well, I finally saved up $35 and went and bought a mini bike, a little blue mini bike. With Blue. I know. I know.
But now you're red.
Barry is red. Everything about Barry is
about
red.
you, even the couches.
Sammy Hagar would be
plane
proud.
is red.
Later on, I switched. I found out the red was the power color. Not blue. But blue was all I had at the time. But you know, they still had rattle cans.
So
I
just honoring the MAAP colors.
Yeah, so I bought my blue mini bike and I'm riding.
That's why
all
we
over
blue
town.
too.
Yeah.
Different kind of blue.
So I got my mini bike and I started riding. Of course, then that
Boom.
projected up, and I did get a red Honda 90 Trail.
Okay, we'll let you off the hook.
So I did do that, and a funny story. I'm riding that Honda Trail 90 around town,
Right.
and the
remember those.
local highway
Trail
patrol
70s.
sees me, right? And by this time I'm 13, you know, something like that. He stops me. "Where do you live, kid?" I tell him where I live. He takes me back to my house.
Oh my.
Knocks on the door. I ring the doorbell at my own house, and I'm standing there at the door with the highway patrol
Highway patrol.
and me, 13 years old. I'm like 5 feet, and my dad opens the door and he goes, "What'd you do, boy?"
Yeah. Hey, that's
Like
small
there's
town.
history there.
That's how they handle things in the
I'll
small
never
town.
forget that. "What'd you do, boy?"
Yeah, he just
And
knew.
so the cop explains that, you know, I was riding, I don't have a license
License.
and stuff like that. So yeah, so that was my entry.
Did he
into
cut you
the-
some
into
slacks,
the
by the
police.
way? I meant to ask you.
He did.
The officer.
He did, yeah, but that wasn't the only time. So there were others.
Well, the way your dad said, what you do?
Yeah.
There were others. One, I cut through a yard from one street to the next, and
What did you do turned into now what?
and the and the cop followed me in his
Oh.
car.
Oh, yeah.
Through the yards, you know. So as it turned out, he got in trouble, not me. So yeah, so there were a few instances like that.
So
but,
it wasn't that small town after all.
Yeah.
It was a big thing.
but I mean, I was just a little kid back then. I mean, I was when I got my driver's license, my learner's permit at 14 years old. I was on the driver's license. I was 5'2", 90 pounds.
Oh, isn't that
When I
amazing?
got my
I didn't think you were ever under 5 feet.
16-year-old driver's license, I was 5'4", 110 pounds.
Well, take us back with Tammy now, because where did she fit in this equation?
She
met her in
fits
a
in.
small town, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm working at the gas station, across the street. Now, the interesting part about this story,
Right.
I'm at this gas station across the street from her house.
Right.
Here's the really cool part of the story. Her folks bought our house.
Oh, interesting.
Her folks bought our house when she was like 12, 13. So they're moving in the front door. At that point, I didn't care about girls. I cared about motorcycles and cars, and this, you know. So she's moving in the front door. I'm moving out the back because I don't really want to see her. She ends up moving into my old bedroom
Uh-oh.
of our house.
This is incredible.
So it's like, wow.
Wow, that is very
How
ironic. Isn't
weird is
ironic?
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they move in. We're not an item at all. I don't care. And she moves actually into my bedroom. So fast forward. Now I'm a senior in high school, and she's a freshman. And I talked to her there. You know, I go, hey, you know, if you ever want to go out, you know.
This is why you're working at the gas station now.
Yeah,
Not at
so I'm
school.
at the gas station.
Right.
So she lives across the street. So now she becomes interested in me.
Uh-oh.
So she rides her bicycle to the road to nowhere. She's riding down this road that there's nothing down there.
Nothing down
Yeah,
there.
Nothing down there.
And she knows that.
And I'm sitting there and I'm leaning against the gas pump going, that's strange. there's
Going to nowhere.
There's nothing down there except riding past the gas station. So I let her go by. She comes back, and I whistle. I go, hey, come here. You know, come on over. She comes over. We talk, and I ask her out. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, absolutely. And
It's
you
been
just celebrated
46
39 years of marriage.
from that day.
Together,
our first
but
date. Yes,
you guys
46
just
years
celebrated
together.
your 39th anniversary.
Yes.
Yeah, we just celebrated our
Congratulations.
39th anniversary.
Yeah,
so.
I follow him on social network, and I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like wonderful.
So,
So how does it
yeah,
feel?
so that's the fairy tale that I talked about. I mean, you can't make this up.
No.
So
You
was it
cannot
weird
make
when you
this
went
up.
to see her that you had to go back to your old house again? All of a sudden, you're knocking on your own door.
I
Going,
know.
Hey,
I pull up to
Where
my
the
old
officer
house.
tells you about the owner.
hey, what's going on here?
I pull up to my old
He's
house.
always
and
in
knock on
trouble
the
with that
door.
house, right?
Yeah.
I can't get
So,
away.
yeah, so then we dated for 7 years, and she was always in that house. Of course, she went to KU, you know, where we were dating down there.
Right.
Did you show her how to sneak out that bedroom window? I got this down.
Yeah. Here, there's a nice little latch right here.
Let me show you how
Take it
this
off.
opens.
Yeah. So no, it's
What a
been
great story.
It's been wonderful, and it's just a fairy tale, just like I put in that Facebook.
Facebook.
post.
Yeah, I saw that was like
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. So.
But also, what happened now with Tammy? Like from that point when I remember before you came to Arizona, right?
Mhm.
You wound up moving here. Can you tell us prior about when you got married? What happened during that process? What
Oh
was it?
yeah. So what happened
It's
was,
very intriguing. That's
we were. This was back in '81. There was
Right.
nothing going on in Kansas
You
City.
both finished school.
She was an architect.
Right.
It's trained as an architect. I had a bachelor of liberal arts, which is
Where are you gonna go with that now?
what are you gonna do with that?
And you'd both done school there in Kansas.
Both at University of
Both,
Kansas.
yeah.
Both, yeah. So we both went there. I waited for her because she was 3 years behind me, and so we both
Well,
graduated.
she also waited for you while you were finishing your stuff.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
like-
So we both graduated. So okay, so let's back up.
Yeah.
So in January of that year, '81, we know we're both graduating in May, and we don't know what we're gonna do. Back then, there was nothing going on in Kansas. It was recession. It was bad. But my folks had moved down here a couple years
Arizona.
prior to retire. So we had come and visited them a couple of times in November, December. Thought it was great. It was growing. It was vibrant. Arizona's beautiful for us.
It is
so,
a beautiful state.
we want to do this. So we're sitting there back in January, and I go, we should move to Arizona. There's nothing going on here. When we graduate, we should move to Arizona. And she goes, yeah, I think that's a great idea. But I'm not going unless we get married.
Better put a ring on
So,
it.
yeah, Beyonce didn't know about that one. But that was true.
Maybe
She
that's
was
how
talk-
she got
was
it.
talking for Tammy, huh?
And I said, yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
You want to get married? And that was my very, very weak proposal. There were no helicopters involved, no roses,
No
one
No
knee.
table in the middle of
It
a
was the-
Kansas.
field.
It was the lamest proposal in the history of man. But somehow, some way, she said yes,
Nice.
and from that moment on, decided to get married, and
I was in '81.
in May in '81, and how it went down was we got married on a Saturday, we graduated from KU on a Monday, and we were on the road to Arizona with all of our stuff in a
Wow.
box truck.
Amazing.
With my dad
Were you
driving.
still on the Trail
My mom.
90?
No.
Tammy's on the
Troublemaker,
back.
man. Your buddy, man.
No,
You're like-
we sold it.
Headed to Arizona.
Yeah.
Here we come.
We sold almost everything we had, and what we had left could have fit on that table right there. So we really had nothing, guys. As far as the story of starting from nothing,
Yeah.
we literally. Oh, that's another part of the story. We moved down here. I had $1,500
Wow.
to my name. That was it. $1,500. We had a roof over our head because we stayed
Which
with
is
my
really
mom
more
and
than a lot
dad.
of kids at it.
Yeah.
Well, like at that age, that's good money to
Yeah,
have
for
sometimes.
sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
we stayed at my
absolutely.
mom and dad's. Fortunately, we lived with them for 3 months until, we could get Tammy out working.
Now we're getting into this.
I've
with the
got to find her a
application.
job.
Get into this application. How did it go, honey?
Honey,
My
I got-
degree don't mean anything.
Honey, I got
Your
an
degree is
idea.
beautiful.
So that was the
How
great
did you
part
sell
about
this?
it. Well, I felt
Listen
kind
up, guys. You're about to hear a genius. right
So what would you do if your degree is pretty much worthless and hers wasn't?
So you go with the was.
So my job was to get her a job. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not dumb, right?
Well,
I
of
got a
course,
beautiful woman
That's
already.
where your IQ came.
Yeah, somehow she said yes, so I'm already smart. So I decided that she needed to get a job first because she was marketable. I wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna walk her into the set, and then we're gonna go for a cut, and then we're gonna start again with Tammy. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Come on in, Tammy.
Yeah.
Because I can't let her stand over there. Show and no
And
show.
here-
I broke every rule. Get in
Here
here.
is. Now you
Well,
know
we're
why
doing-
she's marketable.
Come on
and
in,
he's
you guys
not.
sit in the
Here's
middle.
Tammy.
Oh, I have to sit next to him?
Yeah, you have to. 46 years and now
How
47.
are you doing?
Great.
Yeah, and you already know your friend, Ken.
How you doing?
He's a co-host as well for the show. Welcome, Tammy.
They wanted me to come get
Thank
you.
you.
And we're gonna warm up a little, so now you can put your job back together.
Just so you know, Tammy, we know
So
everything.
we know everything by now. But with that said, we're gonna take a short break.
Yeah.
This is MAAP Real Talk Show. We'll be right back with Tammy. Hello, welcome back to MAAP Real Talk Show. Once again with George. Unfortunately, there's nobody else right now but me. Our segment right now, the second one, we have the honor and the privilege to meet the backbone of Mr. Caraway, his wife, Tammy Caraway. Guys, come on.
Hello.
She came to join us in this segment. We were so excited. She was at the end of the last one briefly, but now she's back with us, and I'm so excited to have her on board because I have so much thankful to her as much as I have for him, as I indicated in my first segment. But at the end of the day, sometimes, like I said, friendship is not about money. It's about success. It's about friendship. So it's like both of them go together sometimes because you still need the financial end of it. But sometimes a friendship could bring you better success in the long run, if knows what I mean, within the years to come. Again, thank you and welcome back, Tammy. In your place here. I mean, I don't want to be the one to welcome you, but it's just like I told him earlier. We came to you because we honor you guys. We brought the studio to you, so instead of you coming into the studio. So we mentioned it in the first segment, but I don't want to get into it again. I want to thank you in particular because you're the backbone of your husband. As we all know, what makes me bring this to my attention a little bit, I want to mention, because we talked about various things, and when you're not here, you're going to watch it. But in particular about the plane. Because most husbands, like when they say, hey, honey, I'm getting a motorcycle, you go, oh, honey, come on. And now you got the motorcycle, you're looking at him like, it's a danger ride. People thinking of all these things, and as a wife, you might love it yourself too, because I saw you.
I do.
But you're also worried, right? But now he comes to you and says, I'm getting a plane. Like, run me through this. Like, I'm being very honest with you, because in America, that's like a heavy, bat, for a married couple.
Let me just clarify this.
Okay.
I did not go to her and say I'm getting a plane.
Oh, you just got the plane.
No.
How did you do it?
No.
First, let's go back.
I accidentally bought a plane.
And she will remember this just like it was yesterday.
Okay,
I'm
we'd like to
sure.
hear from you. I just used my own.
So what happened was, she has known that I've been wanting to fly
course.
forever. When I was 4 years
Yes.
old, my dad threw me in the back of a Piper Cub,
Right.
and would take me
Your
flying.
dad was a pilot.
My dad and mom were both
And
pilots.
Yes.
They were both pilots.
Wow.
So he would throw me in the back of a plane. We go flying, so it's kind of in my DNA.
Yeah.
And she knows that. I've been wanting to fly forever.
Right.
But you know how life goes.
Right.
When you have the time, you don't have the money.
You don't have the money.
And when
When
you
you
have
have
the
the
money,
money, you don't have the
you
time.
don't have the time.
Just like you can't chew meat when you have no teeth.
So
Exactly.
so 12 years ago, when I was 52.
Yes, that's what I want to touch on, the 52.
I thought, oh man, I really want to fly. For the first time, we have the time and the money,
And the money.
to make this happen. But I'm 52.
That's another Cessna passing by.
Yeah, exactly. Good timing, guys.
Good timing.
Good
Thank
timing.
you.
So I'm 52, and I'm thinking to myself, am I too old? Am I too old? Remember?
Yeah.
I said, am I too old to do this? I don't know. It was kind of a.
Very inspiring.
It was
I tell you
kind of.
that.
It was kind of a. I had to work that out in my mind.
Right.
Am I too old to do this? Is it past my time? And I go, you know what? No. So
Yes.
that's what I resolved.
I'm in my prime.
So I go to Tammy, and she'll remember this. And I go, look, for the first time, we got the time and the money. I want to learn how to fly. Are you with me on this? Because I wasn't going to do it
Without, yeah.
otherwise. I was not going to do it otherwise. It just wouldn't be done. So she goes, I know you've been wanting to fly forever. I am absolutely 100%.
Wow, I didn't expect that. Really, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is
And
incredible.
when you know Tammy, that would
That
be
I kind of
absolutely
I kind of feel
the
it.
natural
Yeah.
reaction.
Yeah.
So I went about the question in the wrong way then, because
Yeah.
your history is like supporting one another. Like
No, it was
120%.
total respect because I wouldn't have done it any other way.
Any other way,
I
yeah.
mean, because we're friends. We're
Wow,
we're
that's-
married. We're friends.
Yeah.
We're lovers, and I don't want to do anything that's going to take me
Take
away from us doing
Wouldn't be the same.
what we do.
Right, right.
And I mean, that's maybe rare in some instances in
Right.
this world, but that's the way we live. And so I went to her and I said, I want to do
It's the
this.
American way, I tell you.
Are
that.
you on board?
Yes.
And she goes, absolutely. And so that was the beginning. I went fast track,
Right.
got my license. Now remember, I'm still working.
Right.
So I went fast track and got my license in
Right.
8 months.
Wow.
She loves flying like no other, so I got my license and flew for a couple of years, probably 3 years,
Right.
renting a plane. And then
Oh, here it
There's the then.
is. Here we go.
Look at that camera. That's your camera right there. Cyclerods.com.
And I said, so we were renting planes. So we flew over to
Wow.
Big Bear, and we're renting this plane. We're trying to
Yeah.
fly out
Right.
out of Telluride.
A Telluride,
Out of Telluride.
yes, Telluride.
We're trying to fly out of
Yeah.
Telluride
Yeah.
in 172 in the
Oh.
summer, and oh man, it was the most stressful thing ever. We're climbing out
Right.
at 50 foot per minute
Right.
at 60 knots.
Yeah, not good.
Stall horn going off every time I
Oh,
pull back.
no.
Oh no.
Oh man. And so I turned to her and I said, okay, if we're going to be doing
These
this,
damn rental planes.
if we're going to be doing
I
this,
need a solid.
we're
engine.
going to have to have a plane that will pull this off.
a Corvette. No,
Yeah.
Going
with
back
the
6
turbo.
months, I had mentioned a plane. She goes, I'll never, ever, ever
Yeah.
own a plane.
Yeah.
And so I have this in my mind while I'm saying that. you know.
Wow.
And I'm saying, okay, if we're going to do this, we're going to have a plane that's going to work.
Right.
Well, she's not dumb. She knew. she
Explain
knew.
how expensive it is
And-
to rent a plane, huh?
Yeah. And so
Well,
she
yeah.
says, well, you're right.
Right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'd love it.
Yeah.
You're
We're
right.
gonna do it.
We're
We
gonna
need to do it right.
And then
Yeah.
Oh,
what?
that's awesome.
Month later,
Yeah, it's kind of like the motorcycle. A week later, you
Yeah.
know, once he said wanted a motorcycle, it's like, yeah, about a week later we had one.
That is awesome.
That really is.
But the great part of that is that was, I think now, 8 years ago, we got this plane.
Yeah.
And
What an
guys,
awesome
what a
plane,
joy.
too.
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
Just to
And
look at,
you
I'm
guys'
looking at it like,
videos and the places you guys have seen and
Oh,
it's been a life
and
changer.
spur of the moment
Yeah.
is the great thing for you guys to have a plane because
folks, you can follow him
so-
on YouTube as well. He has it all up there
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
want to give us the link.
But you guys are so spur
We'll
of the
write it
moment.
down.
You're a
Yeah.
lot like us, and so you guys experience a plane a lot better than some people who have to really plan. I mean, you guys can literally jump in
yeah.
this,
We just go.
and because you're such a team, you could take off for dinner in Vegas
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
be back by tonight.
Yeah.
So you really get to use your plane because of how you guys are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
the-
a key word is team.
For
I
sure.
mean, you
Yeah.
know.
You guys are a good team.
Yeah. Yeah. We mentioned friendship.
And then comes all these pictures of they can't see everything on the wall.
We're gonna take
There's-
shots of them if you could explain.
There's just
There's
pictures
3
around
things
the
I really
world
want to
up
know
here.
about. The
Yeah.
one when you were like over the water, that I saw on the video.
Yeah,
that was incredible.
Yeah.
The other one when you're doing Jerome, I really want to know. I wish I have another hour. The one with Jerome, like you had it on the motorcycle, right? And you had her with you too, like video
That
the
was-
route 89, and then you have it by the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did it another time, right? It
That was the
coincided.
cool part about that.
Can you tell us a little bit about it, like what, like all that stuff?
I was able to show, from the ground and then from the air, which puts it all together. But backing up just a bit
Yeah.
before I get to that, when we got this plane, we got it in, I think, January or something like that. And of course, you know me by now after this hour talking. I don't sit still very long. So the first thing we did, the first trip we did with this plane,
Yeah.
was go to the Bahamas.
That's the one I was referring to.
Okay,
why
so
they
we
made
take
one
over the water.
we
so
take a 182.
Oh Lord have mercy! Now I got the picture.
And
Take a test drive to
most
the Bahamas.
people, they get a plane, they're going to fly to
They go like somewhere, yeah.
Sedona or
Yeah.
Flagstaff.
Yeah, like
or
local.
Yeah, right.
Maybe
Fly
California.
around the airport.
Vegas, you know. And I go, and Tammy will remember, I got this.
Well, I saw it on
got
video, so
this
I remember
book.
too now.
I got this
Yeah.
book. Well, here it is.
He surprised me with a book.
Here it is.
And I'm
Check
like-
this out.
Yeah.
What's this about?
2013 Bahamas Caribbean Flight Guide, right?
Yeah.
So I got this book, and I kept it on the nightstand.
Yeah.
And I'd be thumbing through this book every night. And I go, look, we could go here.
So
we
you're
could go
doing
here.
your plan route.
We could go
or-
here.
Oh, yeah.
Look at
Yeah.
all these cool.
Yeah.
So-
Remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
So
He's
he
a
was
planner.
planning.
Yeah.
You're a planner.
So I'm going through all this
I'm
stuff.
persistent too.
So
I
he's
know.
planting all this bait on
Yes,
your nightstand.
exactly.
And he's persistent. Yes.
And so she's going, yeah, that looks cool.
That is so cool.
So
That
then
really is
in June
incredible.
of that year, I go, okay, I've got it planned. We're going to go and we're going to fly out over
Were
the
you
water.
nervous, Tammy, when you like remember like your first trip and now you're going?
You know, no, I mean, it's a little it's more thrilling, the nerves.
that nerves.
But the nerves came in when we lost our alternator.
Yep. Okay, that's what I was gonna get into, but she mentioned that.
As we left the shoreline.
Yep. Well, how did you manage? That's a story to tell.
And I saw
Out there,
the,
you know.
I
Yeah.
saw it
Nerve
drop
wracking.
in.
I mean, if that
Yeah.
was I'll be honest with you. I'm not gonna act like a hero now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a nerve wracker for me. Like,
Well-
Yeah, because I was watching the gauges and I
Yeah.
saw it, and I kind of look over at him and I, like, what's up with this?
so you want to talk about
And he
it?
said,
or?
"Oh, I hope you weren't going to see that."
Well, the interesting part of that
Yes.
story is we take off from Florida. Now remember,
That's why I took you there because.
Yeah.
and this is this plane you have now.
Yes, in this one.
I mean, we take off. We've never been even anywhere close. So this first time we've ever been over the water, over the ocean. So we take off. We're 10 miles from the coast of the United States at this point.
Which is
We're
a
out
long
there.
ways.
Look over.
That's far, 10 miles.
See the
That's a long
alternator
swim.
It is.
has gone out, and we're watching the volts
Oh my God.
tick down.
Yeah.
You know, tick, 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 tick,
Oh,
tick.
no.
Well, I know the motor's still going to run, but this is a retractable gear
Right.
airplane, which you
So
need
it-
electricity
You gotta have the
Yeah.
electronics.
to do that.
Oh, Lord.
So I'm watching the alternators, and I told Tammy, I said, we're so far out now. We could turn around, but I don't know where this thing's going. But I do know that the motor's not going to quit. If we have to, we can crank it down. So we continue on, and we're watching it click down, click down, click down. And so we make it to Nassau in the Bahamas,
Right.
and we get the wheels down.
Wow.
And now instead of 24 volts, now we're down to 14 volts. But
Wow.
we get the wheels down, and we get it landed, and have a guy work on it. Can't quite get it fixed, so we charge it up. We do our other routes. We come back, and now it's worse.
So you literally
Yeah.
take off knowing
You
the alternator
you
doesn't
take
work.
off
Yeah.
knowing.
No.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know
That's an
that,
adventure by
And
itself.
that, ladies and gentlemen, is
Well,
very
that's why I'm asking you. I was looking at you because I want to know. Okay, when you in charge like of something, you kind of
now everybody knows.
Right.
But the
who
rider
is.
sometimes like where are you at that point?
there was no
Well,
repair over there.
yeah.
There was no
Yeah, what are you gonna
alternators.
do?
You
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
You
I
just gotta
know
go
it's
with
going to
it.
Yeah, you
last.
just gotta go. Yeah.
I know it's going to last an hour. I know the motor's not going to quit. And I know if I have to, I can crank the wheels down. But we went over, and it was fine. Coming back,
Oh my
not so
God.
much. we get
Going
going.
against wind now, right?
We get going. We get back in, and I call. We're on with the tower and everything, and I get cleared to land. It's all good.
Yeah, yeah. It was all
Put
good
the
at that
wheels
point.
down. Everything goes.
Yeah.
All the electronics,
Yeah.
the radios,
Oh, no. So
we
everything
have
goes.
I didn't know about that one.
I can't talk to anybody anymore. So
Yeah, you're dead.
we go around.
Dead in the air.
I do have clearance to land. I land, but I can't. I'm done talking.
You
to people.
finished.
I
So
can't
you
talk
don't
to
rent a
anybody.
taxi or
Yeah, we
anything.
So
can't
then
even
you got
move. We can't move.
you got to go to
And we got to go to customs.
you got to go to customs. The plane's still running, but I can't talk to anybody. And you're supposed to talk to them.
Oh,
before you
now they're
leave.
going, what's up with this guy?
Yeah.
So they send a truck
What's this small
out.
plane
know.
doing?
They put the emergency-
Returning from the
Yeah.
Caribbean.
They
What's
knew
he
it was something
smuggling?
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God. Thank God. That
So
was smart.
anyway, we get over to customs. It ends up being okay, and we order an alternator and we get it fixed so we can fly back home.
And that's not the first time you guys have had it. It literally quit in the air.
Yes,
We
it did.
had one where
But we're gonna hurry up before I want it. Like, can we hear it or?
Yeah.
Because
We-
that's really.
this one was a little more
I
intense.
call it the edge. You know.
This one
You're
was
living on the edge.
this one was a little more intense.
Can you elaborate on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean we go fuel at Pueblo, Colorado. We take off. We're climbing out, and we're at about 8,000 feet. But remember, you're 5,000 feet there anyway. So we're climbing out. It's all good. And all of a sudden, the motor just goes.
Oh, Lord.
And one of the jobs
Shuts off?
One of the
Done.
one of the jobs of right seat is always to look for a landing area.
Yes.
And I had just noted we were just coming out of the flatlands,
Oh,
starting
wow.
to enter mountains.
Oh, my.
So at that point, you don't have too many options.
You have no options.
We were
Right.
2
Especially in
minutes
Colorado.
away
Yeah.
from being on the other side of the mountains, where
Right.
there would have been
Yeah,
Nothing.
nothing. Yeah.
nothing.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So we're up here, and the motor quits. I'm doing everything to try to get the motor running again. Doesn't go. Long story short, I'm talking to ATC, telling my motor's out, and I find a runway that is there on the chart. And so I go and I start heading for this runway. Great, got a runway to land in. We're all good. We get about quarter mile, half mile from this runway. I have it perfect.
Yeah,
I don't have any motor,
Right.
so I'm gliding.
Right.
It's all good. I get about 30 feet above the runway, and I look, and there's 6 cars parked across the end of this runway.
Oh, Lord.
Oh,
It's
no.
an abandoned.
this is a-
And
it's an abandoned
it's an
runway.
abandoned runway. There's 6 cars parked, and I turn to her. I go, "Hun, if we try to land here, it's going to end up as a fireball."
Wow.
I said, "We can't do it." I hadn't even looked to the left. There was a field over the left and a barbed wire fence. Banked it about 25, 30 degrees. 2 seconds later,
So you had to make quick decisions.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
2
man.
seconds later, we're bouncing through this field over
Prairie dog. Prairie dog village.
prairie dog mounds. Glove compartments opened up,
Wow.
stuff's flying off the
That
dash.
is intense.
Yeah. it
And
was.
and I'm, we're both just kind of waiting for the
Yeah, we
tree
didn't-
trunk to be across there, or a gully, or whatever.
We didn't know if the gear would collapse or.
Oh,
We didn't
thank
know
God,
anything.
you guys. With that, we're going to have to end our segment because we ran into like a couple more minutes overtime. But
Yep.
I just want you to know, and I'm so delighted. I'm proud and honored to have you guys on our show, which is in your hangar, in your home, but bringing it to, instead of coming, like I told you. We really appreciate you, Tammy, so much for giving us the guidance and help in all category. And of course, to you too, Barry. I will never forget you for what you have done as well. We'll talk about that another time. 'Cause we're going to continue. This, I can't mention the other thing because, NDAs, how that works.
I can see Barry a
But-
little later.
Yeah, but we will. Yeah, but you know how it is. But Ken, I want to thank you for introducing me to your
My
buddy
pleasure.
and your friend. This
Thank
is
you.
what all
Pleasure.
folks,
Always enjoyed
ladies
talking
and
to great
gentlemen,
friends.
everybody, where things started, like right now with this whole equation, what created was from Ken. Mr. Ken Ronk was the key. So I just want to thank you publicly. I didn't even thank you that before that, right?
My
I
pleasure.
do it in the right time. I thank him publicly because that's what he brought up, all this friendship that you see here. And I never forget the people behind the camera, because I'm also behind the camera. And without a doubt, I want to give a round of applause to Mr. and Mrs. Thornton, James and Elena.
Another
you guys,
great team.
You guys are a
Yes.
great team. And I want to thank you again for moving the studio to the hangar. And please take some shots of the whole hangar so the audience could feel what we felt today being here. And we are thrilled. I use the word thrilled because everything that I do in my life has always been compelling in one way and then thrilling in another. So it's like I don't have no regrets as a personal. And those are the moments that I feel in spirit with this gentleman and his wife, the Caraway family, and with Mr. Ronk and his family, and with the Thorntons family. It brings me to another level. So because everybody talks about the negative all the time, I want to end this with a positive, and people won't say, why I'm always smiling and happy? You're looking around you. It's not money. It's the friendship and the bond that I create and they create with me. So that's why I call it ours and yours show. Again, thank you for tuning in. This is MAAP Real Talk Show. Again, until next time, I don't say goodbyes because we're all in this world together. Talk to you real soon. We'll take it. Boom. See you. Stay tuned.